7:52 at the Big 550 KTRS. Paul Harris filling in from McGraw. Kelly's here. And David Stokes is on the phone. David is the policy analyst from the Show Me Institute and regular guest here on Monday mornings. Hi, David. How are you?
I'm doing great, Paul. Good to be on the air with you, sir.
What do you have for us today?
Well, there is a board bill before the City Board of Aldermen that's going to require all contracts in the city of greater than $25,000 to go towards contractors with government-approved apprenticeship programs. Now, this may not sound so bad. Apprenticeship programs are certainly a good thing. But what this really is, and why this is such a problem, is this is just another example of blatant union-favoring legislation, because it's the union contractors that have these type of apprenticeship programs, and non-union contractors rarely have them. So this is basically saying to the taxpayers that you're going to eliminate a significant number of bidders for all city contracts if this bill passes. Now, thankfully, there's some organizations opposed to this, particularly the minority business community, because it's a lot of the smaller minority-owned contractors that are going to be shut out if this bill passes. It mirrors legislation passed by the St. Louis County Council 2 years ago. That was terrible public policy, and this would be too.
Well, you said those are on contracts of $25,000 or more. I'm guessing that pretty much any time you're hiring a contractor to do some work in the city, it's for at least $25,000. So this is going to cover pretty much everything that anybody does as a contractor with the city of St. Louis.
You're dead on right, Paul. It's only the very smallest projects would be eligible to be bid on by contractors without these apprenticeship programs. And again, there's nothing, the apprenticeship programs are excellent. I've got no problem with them, but it doesn't tend to be. It is that it is the union contractors that work with the unions to create these programs, and while they're fine programs, those contractors should be able to get the benefits from them and win the bids on their own. You shouldn't have legislation just completely eliminating whole categories of business types from even bidding. That's not, this legislation is so wrong for a number of ways. First of all, in the interest of taxpayers, it's just shutting out a number of bidders, so it's not in the interest of taxpayers. And just as bad, it's the way it's going to shut out many small contractors, often minority-owned. That's why you see the minority communities, the minority business community, so up in arms over this. They fought it in St. Louis County 2 years ago, and now those same groups are fighting it in the city.
I know that there will be people who will say in defending this bill, look, the reason we're doing this is because we want to have a guarantee that we're talking about quality performance standards here, that we want to make sure that everybody who's working on city construction projects is up to the standard that we need.
And that is one of the things they'll definitely say, but we have such a plethora of licensing rules and building codes. This additional one, I don't think many of those things are necessary as it is, but this is like just another layer on top of that, and it's not necessary. The cities, be it St. Louis City or St. Louis County, they have enough intelligent people helping them make the decisions on who to hire. They can investigate the work history of all these contractors that submit serious bids. They know who's good at getting the job done and who might just be submitting a low bid for the sake of it. They don't need these additional regulations and laws that are going to shut out huge numbers of potential bidders to favor the politically connected unions in the city. This is just it's an obvious example of just blatant union-favoring legislation. We see so much of that now in government, where unions or big business or whomever uses the government to get legislation passed to favor themselves. It's called rent-seeking in the economic terms. It's called cronyism to average people, and it's just wrong.
I'm not necessarily opposed to things that are going to help unions in this country, which I think are a desperate resource for a lot of people and something that has been in trouble for the last few years. But what drives me crazy is anytime any special interest group, whether it's a union or a business or anyone, essentially writes a law that is only going to profit their end.
Paul, I completely agree with you. As you know, the Show Me Institute's been a strong voice against, like, tax increment financing packages for non-union companies like Walmart, which put their union competitors like Schnucks or Dearborg's at a real disadvantage to the company that gets the big TIF. We're opposed to all these types of legislation. But right now, this bill before the city, the ones doing it, the ones in the wrong, are the union-backed politicians who are pushing this. And I just think it's not in the interest of city taxpayers, and it's not in the interest of good public policy.
All right, I've only got 30 seconds here, David, but you mentioned that they already have this law in the county. What's the fallout been from that?
Well, it's one of the reasons that you see such divisiveness on the St. Louis County Council, as some of the people who opposed it 2 years ago, that sort of those brake lines sort of came down in the recent election, and it's one of the several bills that has led to sort of the constant backbiting and fighting in St. Louis County that we're having right now. So it's not leading to good government there, and you're going to get the same type of interpoliticking fighting in the city if this passes, and it's really unfortunate. And we've got some more information up on it at showmedaily.org and showmeinstitute.org.
That's David Stokes, policy analyst for the Show Me Institute. Thanks for joining me today.